This is a major crisis of public confidence in yet another pillar of the establishment. We've had banking crises, MPs crisis, and now a complete crisis, a total collapse of basic decency and values in the way in which the press or parts of the press conduct themselves. And I think what we need to do is make sure that we get something good coming out of all of this, which creates greater distance between politicians and the press, gives less power to people who act unaccountably, and make sure we've got a healthy, free, plural, accountable press.
Do you think that you really had enough influence at that early stage in the coalition? Think of the Andy Coulson stuff on the health service and many other issues where you seem to have a deal that looked relatively equitable, and yet as things have turned out, the Conservatives have been able to brush your party slightly to one side.
I don't agree with that at all. If you actually look at the things that have happened, for many people in this country, whether it's taking hundreds of thousands by next April, over 1 million people out of paying income tax altogether, a Liberal Democrat priority, whether it's giving more money to children from disadvantaged backgrounds, new entitlements to young toddlers for free childcare, sweeping away a whole barrage of authoritarian, illiberal legislation which eroded our civil liberties, renewing and refreshing the way we do politics. All of these things are Liberal Democrat. I mean, if you speak to some people in the political spectrum, they either say the Liberal Democrats have got too much influence in the government, or the Conservatives have. I think that's the nature of coalition.
Do you think that the events of the last 2 weeks have changed the nature of the coalition, relationship of the coalition?
I think it's changed fundamentally the way in which the political class and the media class will interact with each other, and hopefully it'll create much greater transparency and accountability in the way in which that happens. It really casts a spotlight on a very...
not answering quite the question I asked you, which was what about relationships inside the coalition? Has that changed?
Look, relationships inside this government, as in any government, evolve all the time. But what has happened over the last 2 weeks
changed it?
Over the last 2 weeks, I think a sharp spotlight has been cast on a very murky part of the British establishment, the interaction between politicians, the press and the police. And I'm a Liberal who passionately believes in transparency, accountability, openness, and I think that is now being improved, or will have been improved, because of the events over the last 2 weeks.